Welcome back to the exciting conclusion and HyzerMedia's coverage of the Disc Golf Open of Pennsylvania, presented by Home Again Disc Golf, and of course, the Norse gods. Thank you also to our Patreon family for supporting HyzerMedia. You can support HyzerMedia on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. I'm Nathan Johnson, and today I am joined by Team Home Again's Dylan Horst.
Hello, Nathan. Glad to be back for this back nine. Super excited to see how this battle finishes out.
Yeah, it was an awesome front nine. If you haven't already watched that, go back and watch. We had some amazing putts, amazing shots, and these guys are absolutely shredding this course so far. We have Chace, who's got a one-stroke lead, looking to finish out this tournament strong and come home with the W.
Yeah, we're starting in hole 10, starting with Jake. Just leaking it a little left, but almost acing it and just going just past the basket.
Yeah, he gave that a great run. He's going to have a little bit of a long comebacker, though, after giving that an ace run. It is a short hole, very much uphill, and it's kind of a poke and pray when you get close to the green. It's a tight gap you got to hit, and then just hopefully your disc settles near the basket, just like Harry did right there. That's a great shot.
Yeah, it seems like they're all finding the gap on the left-hand side. I think the first round, everybody pulled it a little right, but it seems like everybody's calibrating their disc, and another great shot from Lucas right there, about 6 feet away.
Yeah, great shot. These players are just in the zone right now, and just mistakes are few and far between, just playing great disc golf.
Yeah, Dave getting a little squirrely on the right-hand side, but gets himself a putt, circle's edge, giving himself a really good opportunity to kind of get a bounce back after the last hole.
Yeah, right side's definitely the miss on this tee shot. As you can see, behind Jake, there's a big steep slope behind the basket, so you don't want to leak left. Jake's just a little off on his birdie putt there, so he'll have to settle for the par. Here's Dave to see if he can convert from circle's edge and just leaves it a little bit short.
And then Harry here, probably about 10, 15 feet away, pretty easy putt. I know Jake and Dave are a little irritated and, not necessarily happy about missing this hole. It's definitely when you give yourself an opportunity, you want to convert, because most of the field is going to be able to convert on this hole.
Yeah, the hole's short enough that you want to have a putt 9 times out of 10. So, and when you get that putt, you want to make them, especially those inside the circle ones.
But then it was great birdies by Harry and Lucas to kind of get one stroke on everybody else, kind of get that little extra buffer away from Jake.
Yep, they're looking to separate themselves, and hopefully they can keep that going here on hole 11. It's a downhill 247-foot hole with an island green. That river, or the creek, I should say, in front of the basket places OB, and that goes to a drop zone, and then the path behind the basket is also out of bounds. Harry, this looks low.
Unfortunately, it just finds itself in the creek bed. So unfortunately, he's going to have to move back, probably about circle 2, and try to convert from the drop zone.
Yeah, so Lucas with the chance here to take a stroke if he can put this in bounds, and he does, giving himself a circle's edge look for birdie.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little intimidating, being an elevated basket and, being a right-handed backhand putter. It's going to want to fade back to the OB. So just some extra factors that he's just going to have to deal with. But Jake here throwing the perfect shot.
That was beautiful. Just a pure putter straight at the basket, and he parks it. Great shot.
And then Dave here trying to flick, I believe it was an Envy, trying to have it stand up just a little bit.
Ooh, kind of giving it an ace run. Fades out to the right, but plenty of room over there. He's in bounds, and he'll have a birdie putt as well.
Dave's been pretty hot from circle 2, so he's giving it a chance. He just wants to, finally convert one. Harry just taking his medicine here, putting himself inside the circle to tap in his bogey, fortunately.
This is definitely one of those holes where, it's going to be birdie or bogey for most people, depending if you put it on the island or if you have to go to that drop zone. Did that go in off the band?
It did. Right off the top and just scooped it straight down to the basket.
Wow, what a putt. Dave continues his hot streak from circle 2 and is able to convert on that birdie. That was awesome. As Lucas, that was an interesting reaction. Kind of hit the cage and popped through the basket almost.
Yeah, just pulled it a little right. He wanted it a little more square just to make sure that it didn't have any left or right. With the Prodigy baskets, you almost need to make sure you just hit them straight. The miss is not left or right on these.
Yep. Yeah, middle or low left are your best bets, but yeah, low right is too many chains in these things to catch those.
Unfortunately, Harry with the bogey, but fortunate enough for Jake with the nice birdie.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Just what he needed. Taking a stroke on Lucas and two on Harry, and this three-horse race is shaping up to be a very exciting finish here as we come down the stretch.
Here we are on hole 12, par 4, 469 feet. Most players will play just short of this creek on the left-hand side where the drone is flying. By that last tree on the right, that will be the landing zone to throw this nice forehand. Again, into the green or a long turnover. Most people try to either cut this hole into two, throwing the same disc twice, or there is a more aggressive distance shot on the right-hand side to try to punch as far as you can. And then there is an exposed lane to the green off to the right as well. Dave here trying to go across, just unfortunately overcooks it and just goes out of bounds long left across the path.
Yeah, there is that aggressive line if you have a big forehand to try to bite off a lot across the creek on your first shot, but it is such a tight landing zone on the other side of the creek that it's tough to get the distance control right and the angle right to land that in bounds.
Exactly, very slow shot. But yeah, Lucas there throwing the perfect shot, exactly where he wanted to be by the big tree. Harry trying to be a little more aggressive to find that secondary gap. Unfortunately, it just fades out into the path or into the creek bed.
Yep, so that'll be OB. He'll be throwing three from there to try to save his par. Lucas is pretty much in the ideal landing zone if you're playing that chip shot. Now he just has another chip forehand, almost identical. To give himself a putt, and he skips it off the road back in bounds. That's a great shot.
That's a great one. Little scary at first because it's skipping off the path, but fortunate enough to get that great skip just to be next to the basket.
Yeah, and now Jake with a very fortunate tree kick there to kick him back inbounds. I could have very easily kicked him to the right into the creek.
Yeah, then Harry here taking advantage of one of the rules, the PDGA rules, when your disc goes out of bounds, you're able to take it back on a straight line as far as possible, or as far as the player would like, basically unlimited relief. So he basically tried to go back as far as he can to open up that little gap. And then he executed it perfectly to get up and down for his par.
Yeah, well done there from Harry. And Dave here, after going OB off the tee shot, he's able to play a forehand along that OB road and give him a great chance to save his par.
And Jake here from Circle's Edge, circle 2, trying to see if he can convert on his birdie. Oh, great looking putt, just a little right. Had the height, had the pace. Just missed the line by a little bit.
Yeah, and that is a great putt there from Lucas. Went a little long on his upshot after that road skip, but was able to convert that Circle's Edge look for birdie and give himself a lead.
And then we have a couple par cleanups here. I mean, going into the back nine, starting off with, an unfortunate putt, but then a very good putt here to kind of get him that one stroke lead. It's momentum's on his side right now. So we'll see if he could just kind of keep rolling with the punches, and we'll see if Harry can kind of turn things around. It was just a little unfortunate on the tee shot, and then Jake here, just an unfortunate miss on the putting green, but they're both long from out of it.
Yeah, definitely anybody's game, and we're entering a stretch of the course with a bunch of shorter par fours that are all very scoreable, very birdieable. So if somebody gets hot at the right time, they could separate themselves from the group.
Yeah, for Lucas here, it's a matter of not opening the door. At this point in time, he holds the key to his own fate. So if he can just, keep the pedal to the metal, he'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Now,
starting with hole 13 is the first step there. We have a par 4, very uphill tee shot. Basically just want to bite off as much as you can. If you land anywhere around this path, which is inbounds, you're in a great spot to just kind of chip up to the green and get your birdie. There is an OB path on the right side that is out of bounds the whole way up to the green. So you want to avoid that. Left is the miss here.
Yeah, and there is a gravel path up when you get probably about 3/4 of the way up the hole. That is casual. It's just a warning path that the park uses. Now, Lucas here, having the miss that you would want to have finishing left, it exposes a long forehand going into the green. So he's going to be very happy with his placement on there. And Jake, unfortunately, kicking off a tree, getting a little short. We'll see if he can kind of bounce back and see what he could do for his second shot.
Yeah, this hole's short enough that as long as you bite off, a couple 200 feet or so off the tee, you can still find a way to get a birdie. It just makes the hole a lot easier if you're able to push something straight and far up that fairway.
Exactly. It's how aggressive do you want to get. If you want to be very aggressive off the tee, your second shot's going to be better. But if you want to keep things stress-free, might be better off just pitch up and away and pitch up again.
Yep. Yeah, so Jake's got a longer approach here, probably. Oh, yeah, you can see the short basket right behind him. So I'm going to say he has another 200 feet or so. Probably just going to go straight putter. Oh, and just leaves it a little wide. Catches a tree.
Unfortunately, he really had a decent opening, and he's been very confident with that putter all day, and just pulled it a little bit right. While Dave here throws a textbook forehand right up and underneath the basket, very stress-free birdie.
Yep, Harry's going to look to replicate that line, just a little chip, something overstable, probably a tactic for him, and yeah, he puts that really close. Great shot.
And Lucas here opting for the Hyzer. Puts a lot of trees into play, which fortunately, he probably kicked off of that tree, which stopped him from possibly getting a little squirrely with the out of bounds. But as of right now, he's 20, 25 feet away. He's going to like his opportunity.
Jake with a great bid from like 70 feet. Just comes up short off the cage, but he gave that a great run.
Yeah, Jake's been all over the basket today. Start off with that one putt on 9, and then ever since then, it's just been slightly off. I mean, he's capitalized on a couple good putts, but it seems like the last 2 holes were just off.
Yeah, very close to Jake being, right there with Harry and Lucas, but instead he's a couple strokes back. So he's going to need to, definitely pick up a good amount of birdies here on the back 9 if he wants to give himself a chance to win this thing.
Yeah, it brings us into hole 14. Thank you, Elevation Discs, for sponsoring the coverage and sponsoring the event. Hole 14, par 4, 506 feet. It's going to be a long pushing forehand through the gap that the drone's flying through. And the finish is probably going to be somewhere around these trees. And then it'll just be a nice, easy pitch up to either get your birdie, or if you push it far enough off the tee, you might even have that jump putt to get the eagle.
Yeah, we saw Jake in round 3 had maybe a 60-footer after a really great tee shot. So I'm sure he'll be looking to replicate that again here. Lucas is going to go first, though, with a big forehand. He just absolutely mashes forehand. So this hole is no issue for him. That'll give him 100 feet into the basket. He'll have plenty of options from there.
Yeah, even a nice long jump putt if he wants to take a little bit of a stab at it.
Yeah, for sure. Dave, also a very proficient forehand player. He throws a great line as well. Coming up a little short of Lucas, but still in a great spot.
And Harry here trying to throw the long turnover. Seems like it hit the initial gap right, maybe just a little cooked over, but that's okay. He's still going to be in a good spot right by Dave. So I think he'll be in prime position to get the birdie.
Yeah, that's definitely the miss when you're going for the backhand, because this hill, as you can see, slopes pretty severely right to left. So if you throw something a little too stable or don't quite turn it, you could fade out down that hill and it would give you a much longer approach.
Yeah, Jake with a great drive as well. Kind of got it was a little sketchy through the trees, but it found the gap, and he's going to be probably another jump putt away from being right next to the basket for an easy birdie.
Yep, and that's all you need here. Oh, as Dave, his upshot gives it a little too much juice, and he finds that OB, which is about 30 or so feet behind the basket. It's a tough break.
Yeah, especially since, he was far enough back that he had that nice hyzer right around all these trees, and just the pace was just a little off. Everything else was right. It was just the pace. Well, Harry here, the pace was right, but just leaves it a little right. He's going to have a circle's edge putt to try to save his birdie.
Yeah, and Lucas will have a stress-free birdie after that, 100-foot jump putt, just laying it up. But I don't think Jake's going to lay this one up. Maybe 70-footer?
Gave it a run. Gave it the height, just a little right. He
Yeah,
wanted it.
just a little bit. Oh man, I would have loved to see an eagle on this hole. That would be super impressive as Dave, to save the par from circle's edge after going OB on his approach, just leaves it a bit short. It's going to drop a stroke.
And then Harry here trying to save his birdie to make sure he stays on pace and just misses it right.
Yeah, these prodigy baskets do not like
Yeah, they don't like fast
right
and they
side.
don't like right.
Yeah.
So,
Especially that downhill. Just kind of nudged it out.
Yeah. Like some other baskets, the chains stick out a little bit more, but these prodigy, there's just not too much real estate over there, unfortunately.
Yep, so we see birdies from Lucas and Jake, and we'll move on to hole 15.
Hole 15, par 4, 533 feet. Most of the players here, right-hand, backhand dominant players, will throw a long pushing hyzer, which will go just left where the drone is flying, which will expose either a long forehand or the drone was flying through a nice little technical backhand line to finish to an elevated basket.
Yep, tee shot isn't pretty open, so it's not too important as long as you finish somewhere out on the left and push up far enough. Lucas is playing it a little closer to that tree than I'm sure he would have liked, but he's given it enough distance and height to fade out to the left, and that'll be a pretty straightforward approach.
Yeah, he was holding his breath the whole time. He walked back and gave a nice long sigh.
Sigh of relief for sure. As Jake, this is more what you're looking for. Just a little bit of turn, comes back to the left, right in the open.
Might be a little short of what he wanted, ideally, but again, being left is the play because it opens up a lot more options. And Harry, unfortunately, just a little low off the tee, but anywhere on this hole, as long as you cover some real estate, you should be able to get up and down. Just might be a little tricky depending on the line.
Yeah, and that's a nice shot from Dave. Just the same thing, straight to fade, and he'll be in a great spot.
All right, let's see what Harry can do here. He's going to throw around the outside with a very overstable disc. Comes in high to the left-hand side. Puts him just inside the circle, an elevated basket, which is definitely what he was looking for after that tee shot.
Yep, and an uphill putt is a little less scary than a downhill with that elevated basket, like you said, and there's OB pretty close on the right-hand side, so Dave, he kind of left it a little short, so that'll be a scary putt, but I think he's still inside the circle.
Exactly. Yeah, Dave's a pretty proficient putter. Like you were saying earlier, he has a couple stories from Worlds, so next time anybody sees it, you should go ask him about some of his putting stories from Worlds.
Yeah, pretty cool. Jake puts his upshot inside the circle as well, and I would be very surprised if Lucas didn't do the same. It's pretty open forehand hyzer, and yeah, he puts himself to 10 feet. Great shot.
Yeah, it's great. Everybody here having a putt for birdie. It's what you want to see. Jake, a little bit uphill, but perfect. Just low enough to make sure chain slow it down, stays in the basket.
Yep, nicely done, Harry. He's got a little uphill 20-footer or so. Not a problem. Drops it in.
Yeah, well, maybe a little left what he wanted, but hey, in the basket's in the basket. And then Dave right here, center cut, perfect pace. And then Lucas finishing it out with the star frame.
Yeah, really well done from the lead card here. Pretty much played it textbook.
Yeah, as we're rolling hole 16, par 4, 499 feet. It's probably one of the most technical holes on the course. A lot of people are going to be playing a pushing hyzer along the left-hand side here where the drone is flying to land somewhere around here, maybe a little longer or shorter. From there, you just have to manufacture, your upshot. It just depends where you are and where the trees are in relation to your lie. But from there, it's a 200-foot upshot, 220-foot upshot. A lot of these players have all the tools that they can make something work from there.
Yep, as long as you hit this initial gap and push forward like Lucas did here, you can manufacture something. There's a couple different gaps. The biggest one would be out and around the left side if you are able to finish left enough. But there's also up the middle gaps too if you throw your drive far enough.
Yeah, Lucas hitting the initial gap, being exactly where he wanted. Jake, unfortunately, just a little left. Kicks off the tree, but lands in prime real estate to, kind of pick his own adventure going up to the basket.
Yep, he'll still have opportunities there. Harry, this looks good. It's a little right, and he kicks off a tree, but bit off enough that he'll be able to find something to try to get a birdie.
And here we have Dave trying to see if he can get past the trees that his fellow cardmates unfortunately hit. And then he hit the last one before getting out in the open. But good roll, keeps him in the fairway. He has some options from there.
Jake had a really tight tunnel he was trying to line up there, but just hits that one tree that he had to miss. Unfortunate.
And Dave here having a nice slow pushing Hyzer with a putter. He feels very comfortable with that type of shot. So
yeah, super smooth.
A little long, but it gives himself an option. He's a really good putter, so I feel like that's a pretty high percentage for him.
Harry's trying to go up the gut. That's surprising because he had that big Hyzer gap, which looks pretty open, but he decides to go straight at it, leaves it a little low.
Yeah, it might have been a slight early release. At this point, it was getting a little hot and muggy, so might have just kind of gotten his head a little bit, hand a little too sweaty.
Yeah, and I mean, fatigue-wise, this is the fourth round of a 4-round tournament at 2 heavily elevated courses. Like, our players are tired. It's been a long weekend, and fatigue is, I'm sure, coming into play. So keep that in mind as we're watching this coverage.
For sure. And now Harry has the decision if he wants to go for the long run or just pitch up. Looked like he gave it a half bid, but still leaves it inside of 20. He's going to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, Harry at this point has got to pretty much run in everything. Anytime he can see the basket, he's trying to make up 2 strokes now in the last 2 holes. There's no room for error anymore.
Yeah, Lucas a little timid on the putt, but that's okay. I mean, it just slowed down. No harm, no foul. But Dave with the great birdie putt from circle 2.
Yeah, really great putt, straddled out around the tree, drops it in. Great pace on that one. Love to see it.
Yep, and then Jake here for par. See if he can end the hole. Couple bad breaks, but just leaves it right.
Yeah, stuck to the hand maybe a little bit there. Just a bit wide. It's a tough bogey to take. That pretty much is going to do it for Jake in terms of his chances at winning this thing. He's going to be 4 back with 2 to play, and it seems like it's pretty much a 2-horse race with Harry being the only person with a chance to catch Lucas.
Jake unfortunately went a little long and
no,
overcorrected on the putt. Now just finished a little left.
Yeah, that's tough to see. Again, I mean, it's just a little bit of that maybe mental fatigue, physical fatigue, long tournament. Just gotta stay locked in and try to finish it out strong.
Exactly. Yeah, like you said, it's a marathon. Two rounds at Muddy and 2 rounds here. It's no joke. And nobody here had a caddy. So Everybody was carrying their whole bag and, yeah, going up and down these hills. A long day.
It is a long day. But they're going to have to try to finish out strong here. First of our final 2 holes is hole 17, a par 3, 350 feet. It goes over this kind of gully, down and then back uphill. The shot end up being about 15 feet uphill of elevation in the end. You're going to see most players either throw a forehand if they have the distance or just kind of a straight drifting backhand to give yourself a putt.
Yeah, Dave here being one of the better forehand players, touch forehand players in our area, plays it to perfection.
Yeah, that's such a great shot.
Yeah, hits the ground about 20 feet short, skipping up. Be an easy tap-in birdie for him.
Yep, Lucas is trying to match that line, and this looks like a really, oh my goodness, he's kind of giving that an ace run there. Ends up going about 25 long, but it's still a great shot.
Yeah, and then Harry trying to answer. Has a nice turn on it. Unfortunately, just kicks off of that last tree and kicks left. Probably leaves him probably about 70 feet outside of circle 2.
Yeah, that's a tough break there. It looked like a good line, maybe a little low, but just started to turn a little too early. Needed that to push a little bit straighter. Jake, he's lining up the forehand here as well, but just pulls it a little left. And that's going to, yeah, he's going to have to scramble for a par.
Yeah, the good thing was it left him in the middle of the fairway. So really just a matter of throwing the same shot again. Just stand still. But, you know, it's very unfortunate he didn't want to pull it that far left. But it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, does a pretty good job there to give himself a putt for par, as Harry, he has to give this a run from 70 feet, and he hits the cage.
He wanted it. He wanted it so bad.
Oh, man, he really needed that one, especially with Lucas now putting for birdie. Almost doesn't need to. I mean, there's no reason he wouldn't run it, but yeah, Lucas, if he can finish, you know, par or anything better than that, should be in a great position to take this thing down.
Exactly. Yeah, Jake with a great par there too. He was able to get up and down. Great second shot. Lucas needing to take a second, just missing his putt.
Yeah, might have rushed that a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely wanted that one. Kind of put the nail in the coffin, but
yeah, instead he leaves the door open. I mean, there is definitely trouble to be had on 18 with the OB all along the left-hand side. So it's not, you can't really play that hole too safe because, yeah, an unlucky break and we could see a two-stroke swing. So it's definitely not over yet.
That brings us into the last hole. Hole 18, par 4, 494 feet. Plays downhill, probably about 50, 60 feet. Now, most players will play the gap that the drone is playing, either with a long pushing backhand that has a slight fade right around here, or just throwing a nice turnover forehand to try to get just before the break in the trees. And then from there, it's, you can either throw straight at it, around the trees, pushing hyzer, pushing forehand. Again, another one of those pick your own adventure holes, but off the tee shot, it's very technical and very demanding.
Yeah, Dave's going to go forehand to try to play it safe, but he overturned it, gets a really good kick, and made his way most of the way up the fairway.
Yeah, I mean, being in the last bush on the way to the basket is a pretty good spot. There's a few things in the way. And then Lucas here, with the muggy conditions, just needs to make sure he's set with his game plan. Just trying to throw a nice straight forehand, fading a little bit.
Yeah, that's very right, but honestly, he just needs a par here. So that'll play just fine. He can just chip up into the fairway from there and probably have a jump putt to seal the deal.
Yeah, and there are a few gaps through the bushes there. So it's not that the bushes are impenetrable, but, he still needs to execute a really good shot, while Harry here throws a laser beam.
Oh, man, he was going for it. I mean, I think he knows he's down two strokes. He's got to try to make something happen. And that was on a great line, just maybe a little too far right, and catches something late.
Yeah, let's see if Jake can bounce back with a birdie on the last hole. Throwing a turnover.
Came out a little early and just goes through all those trees. Finishes on that OB path on the left-hand side. So he'll have to try to save his par. Jake really did play a great tournament, just kind of leaked a couple strokes here on the back nine, but still 28 under is no joke. He's played a great tournament. He'll have a putt to grab a par there and seal a top 10 finish.
Yeah, he has a couple slow-mos on here, so I think he'll be happy with his performance. Unfortunately, he will not be happy with how everything settled out, but he gave himself an opportunity. Dave right here with a nice pitch up, being in perfect position, just easy up and down.
Yep, should be pretty straightforward. Harry, he's got to try to throw this in if he wants any chance at still winning this thing, and he's giving it a bid. Honestly, that was not a bad effort. Still sticks it close, so it'll be a pretty easy birdie from there. But here's Lucas's third. All he needs to do is put it close, get himself the par.
Yeah, he was able to find a gap through the bushes, so just to get to here, and then this is just a jump putt to try to get as close as he can.
Yeah, puts himself to 10 feet. That is going to give him a very good chance, I would think, to take this thing home.
Yeah, he would definitely want it closer, but with the way he's been putting today, I think that'll be fine.
Jake with a great putt there. Sneaks it in left-hand side to get the par. 28 under par. Great tournament from Jake.
Yeah, then Dave here to finish with the birdie. Let's see. And yep, no worries there. Dave came on strong at the end. Birdie, birdie, birdie. So he's definitely happy with his finish. Could have done a little better on a couple other holes, but that's okay. And Harry as well. Finishing with a birdie on the last hole is still good.
Yeah, and here's Lucas for the par and the victory. There you have it, folks. Your 2022 Disc Golf Open of Pennsylvania champion. Let's turn it over to Eric Hess.
Klines, put your hands together. Westside Disc sponsored. 2-time Disc Golf Open of Pennsylvania winner, 4-time B-tier winner, Lucas Oberholtzer Hess.
I'm getting a lot of deja vu right now. Thanks again to Eric, running another great event. Again, card mates, Harry, it was a great battle all weekend. Yeah, just a fantastic weekend. Thanks to Westside, helping me out here. Thanks to all the support from my friends and family. Really, really nice to have them out here, and looking forward to the next one. Thanks, guys.
Love to see it. Super happy for Lucas. He played well all weekend and shot a 10-down final round to seal the victory. What are your thoughts, Dylan?
Oh, it was a great battle all the way till the end. A bunch of us watching the scores, we saw Jesse Longenecker kind of coming down the stretch. He forced people to play well. And I mean, everybody else just, we saw from the front nine, everybody was jamming putts, throwing fantastic shots. Kind of got a little slowed down the stretch, but you know, sometimes you just have to roll with the punches and see what happened.
Yeah, they made it work. They played great the whole way. It was super exciting to watch. Thanks again to our sponsors, especially Tono Group, Elevation Discs, and Home Again Disc Golf. Thank you all for watching this coverage. It was super, super exciting finish. HyzerMedia will be covering the Warwick Disc Golf Championships soon, so don't go too far, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that and any future tournaments we do. I'm Nathan Johnson, joined by Dylan Horst, and thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, thank you everybody, and hit that subscribe button.